So we're in the midst of the Madonna Celebration Tour, which is basically her version of eras. She invented them, to be honest. I've been thinking about some of my favorite musicians, their iconic eras. Lady Gaga's Joe Calderone, the time Prince changed his name to a symbol. So on this show, we're going to take one pop star and outline their career by my favorite eras. So welcome to The Era with Ira. I'm Ira Madison III, pop music stan, host of the Keep It podcast, and today we're starting big with the pop star, Beyonce. Of course, I couldn't come in and talk about Mrs. Carter without Kendra James.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. When you think of eras, you think of Jurassic, Cretaceous, we're going to talk about a main era, but there's always eras within eras within eras. Russian doll.
Moments, if you will.
Yeah. Beyonce has a vast career in history, and we obviously can't cover every single iconic thing she's done, but we'll try. So without further ado, let's begin with Beyonce's girl group era. The girl group era was Beyonce's first era. She debuted with Destiny's Child.
So in the girl group era, when Beyonce launched, she launched under the management of her father, Matthew Knowles. It was very much a family affair. Matthew Knowles was the manager, and Tina Knowles, Miss Tina, was very much the stylist, doing everything aesthetically for them. That era lasted until around 4, when she dropped Matthew Knowles as her manager. Great stuff came out of that, but it was very commercial and very driven more towards appealing to everyone.
I saw the Survivor tour in Milwaukee in high school. They were on the TRL tour at this point because it was like the Survivor era.
Destiny's Child, En Vogue, SWV, we used to make these girls sing.
Yes.
Sing. We don't do that anymore.
You listen to Bills, Bills, Bills. There are probably like 8 different parts of that song.
Yes.
There are people getting different lead vocals. There's a bridge, there's choruses. There is so much happening in a single song then that would be 45 seconds of that would be a current song on the radio.
Yep.
This era was 1998, the debut album, Destiny's Child, and then we had The Writings on the Wall, 1999.
When Bugaboo came out as a single, it was over.
That was over. Yes. Everyone definitely got into them with No, No, No or Get on the Bus remix.
Yeah.
And then the singles on Writings on the Wall, the singles on that were basically Thriller level, Katy Perry Teenage Dream level, like every single from that, from that era.
And even the songs on that album that aren't singles, So Good.
Yeah.
If you have not heard So Good, I think it's the second or third track on that album, such a good song. Again, harmonies, bridges, we're going up, we're coming down, we're singing.
Also, the whole album was like commandments themed.
Yes.
So each song would start out with
Thou shalt know when he got to go.
Thou shalt move on to the next. And then 2001 was Survivor. That is like the first era of the girl group era because they have obviously another album that's coming up, but it's a separation because that comes after her solo record. The going solo era.
My college years.
Yes. She has something to prove after Destiny's Child. They've done 3 albums so far, and this is where Crazy in Love comes out, and it is very much I am that girl.
Yes. Truly comes out of nowhere because she was no one thought that she was going to hit the heights of Britney, Christina Aguilera.
Before a rap feature felt cursory, and post a rap feature feeling like a sort of helping the rap act in the Mariah era,
right?
The 90s, you were almost helping that act, and then you were also giving them a full different remix. In this era specifically,
this is the song.
You had to have a rap feature to hit.
Yep. And she just happened to land with one of, our opinions aside, one of the best rappers of all time.
Yes. And I think you and I have been discussing this recently, and the internet's been discussing this. Her solo era has B-Day in it.
Yes.
And which is, people have considered her loudest album.
That's the one where all of our mothers were like, well, this girl just be yelling.
She does yell. She does yell. And also, B-Day is her second solo album. What's so interesting about this, because also my college era as well, she had released Dangerously in Love, her first solo album, and then the next year, Destiny's Fulfilled came out, the final Destiny's Child album.
Right. Which started to then sound, again, like we're talking with these rap features, had this song on it, Soldier, which listening back to, again, just like a really great song.
It's a perfect song.
Has Lil Wayne, has T.I.?
Yeah.
Yeah. This was also the era. This was Cater to You at the BET Awards.
Oh, Cater to You is iconic.
Yes. That Terrence Howard moment is what I'm thinking of.
You know, she's also with Jay-Z during this period, and for the fans who weren't around back then, this was weird because they were clearly dating, but being we're not dating.
Because probably there was an age difference.
Yes.
There was a little bit of an age difference.
There was an age difference, and also I think this was also the Matthew era too, and I think there was also a concerted effort to have her stand alone and not be like, I need a man. Yeah, I'm not like a rap girlfriend.
Right. Yep. Which is fair, and I think that she has far exceeded that title, certainly. I should also mention from this era, 03 Bonnie and Clyde.
Yes.
We can't not talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, the whole impetus for the On the Run tour.
Yes. Yeah. That is actually looking back, that is a seminal track to come out and has affected what we're seeing today.
This was the era where, like the TRL, the MTV era, so you would constantly see Beyonce on TRL.
She's still talking to us here.
Yes, she was talking to us. You would see her on TRL. You would also see her interacting with other pop stars of the era, many of whom are no longer with us.
That's very true.
On the charts, at least.
The movie star era. She starts doing movies. Her first mainstream blockbuster, was Austin Powers' Goldmember, the third movie in the Austin Powers trilogy, where not only was she probably, I would say, second lead in that film, they had her working on that soundtrack.
Yeah.
Some good songs.
Work It Out.
Work It Out. Yeah.
Which also, by the way, I feel like is important in her origin story because she has the line, I'm giving you a taste of your honey. I want the whole beehive. And I feel like that's the origin for Beehive.
Yeah.
There are so many movies from this era that, like the Pink Panther.
Never saw it.
Fighting Temptation.
Sure did see
that. Carmen, a hip opera. MTV's Carmen, a hip opera.
I stole Carmen, a hip opera from a public library on DVD. And I really like that movie. And the songs in it are also like not bad. Those songs too also lead to the Pepsi commercial.
That's true. Yeah.
Which she was doing commercials at this time. So you had the Pepsi commercial that springs off of Carmen, but then you also have the iconic Super Bowl Pepsi commercial with her, Britney, and Pink. But we haven't touched, I would say, on arguably the most iconic movie.
I mean, Dreamgirls.
Dreamgirls.
That was the moment. That was the movie.
That was Christmas Eve in a theater with my mother and grandmother.
That's still the movie,
yes.
to be honest. Like that is a movie that has stood the test of time.
The two white men I will trust to direct a black movie, Steven Spielberg and apparently Bill Condon.
Also, Cadillac Records is from this era, and you need to know that during the Cadillac Records era, she was always wearing that platinum blonde Pussycat wig.
Sure was.
She wore it everywhere. Like that Stand Up to Cancer performance when she's with Miley Cyrus and all the girls. She's wearing it. She wore it everywhere.
Yeah. Listen, she commits. She wants you to know the era that she is in, and she makes it known.
The Single Ladies era. This is the height of her mainstream pop. This is white pop.
Yes.
This is Single Ladies was everywhere. This was the Beyoncé, pronounced Beyoncé, on SNL. That was like the era of she was everywhere.
Right. And this is the Single Ladies era. This is the iconic, we all know where we were when this video dropped. Just knowing that this is something. This was a game changer.
An iconic song, and Sasha Fierce is obviously not an iconic album. No one listens to it. But 4 was after that, and that is truly like immaculate work. 4 is definitely in my top 3. My top 3 sort of rearranges as we go, but 4 is always there. 4 is always there.
It's a straight through listen.
Yeah.
No skips.
And that is the post-Matthew.
Yes. And I think as people understand, the narrower your focus gets, I think the more interesting the product that you produce becomes. And that's the difference between the Matthew Knowles era and then 4 and beyond. Everything becomes a little bit more specific, a little more personal, and a little bit more focused.
This was her pop star era, so it also coincided with, starting a family with Jay, Blue Ivy's birth, and motherhood.
And that's the real era Swift right there, when Blue Ivy comes into the world and becomes creative director.
Yes, exactly. Okay.
It felt very freeing for her. It just felt very much like she was singing personally. She was starting to realize that while she could definitely give us glimpses into her life, like the reveal at the MTV Movie Awards of her pregnancy, she was starting to realize we didn't need to know everything.
No.
And that was for the best.
And it's also the first one that feels like, not to discredit B-Day, which like I love, but it's the first one that feels like an album, and she releases albums. I Am Sasha Fierce, the main problem with it is it feels like a collection of songs.
Yes, 100%. And I get she tried to separate it into, so Sasha Fierce, we should say, is what her alter ego at the time was.
Yes. She would have a robotic hand.
Yes.
She'd do her like back and forth like that, like in the it first appeared in the Single Ladies video, but then it's also in the Pepsi commercial.
Yeah.
Sasha Fierce is her alter ego when she snaps.
Yeah, Sasha Fierce is screaming, ring the alarm.
Yeah.
We go from Single Ladies, which I think the quote unquote real fans are like, please stop performing that.
Of course. Oh, I hated that song. There's some good things. I mean, Telephone.
Yes.
And then also, I mean, Diva is on that album.
Yes.
You know? And
there's good stuff there.
Yeah.
It exists.
It just all together, I Am Sasha Fierce does not add up to a great album. There's too much mess.
This is also an era where visually, no, it's not all the same. However, there starts to be like a little bit of a crisper and minimalist sort of aesthetic for this album. When I think about the videos that came out of it, the videos for, like I mentioned already, Love on Top, the video for Countdown also feels more minimalistic. Also, that was the album where you'd seen a little bit of it in Get Me Body, iconic. But you had sort of a Fosse, Audrey Hepburn influence in that one, but then you saw it again in Countdown, which I really appreciated.
And Single Ladies also, which is Fosse.
Exactly.
Yeah. This era sort of culminates with the Super Bowl, which is the Super Bowl to me. It is just the height of Beyonce at her. Everybody loves her.
Yes.
Everybody is rooting for her. You cannot turn on that Super Bowl at anywhere you're at, any gathering you're at, and not have every eye go to that Super Bowl. Like, we love that performance.
She's also just a person, like, in this era, something happens too where she realizes how to find the camera at every single moment. Every frame with her at this point is a pose, is a different look.
Everything is like perfected at this point. It was not completely perfected at the Super Bowl. That is why she hit BuzzFeed and some other outlets with some cease and desist after that Super Bowl, because there are those specific shots of like her looking like
oh yes,
and it's
I
like
do.
And then people were making memes of her looking like She-Hulk.
Yes, which we don't do to black women, people. We don't do that.
Yeah, but you know, she and Michelle Obama do be looking like they could destroy a city.
I'm not co-signing that.
The Disruptor era. This is the turning point in her career, going from pop superstar to indelible cultural phenomenon. We call it the Disruptor era because she shook up the game. She was disrupting.
She fully changed the way music is released.
Obviously, changed the game with the digital drop. 2013, Beyonce, the album, self-titled, dropping on the night of the Scandal finale.
What a tough night. What a tough night.
That changed the music industry.
Yes.
Because up until then, we used to get new music on Tuesdays.
Which I've forgotten, frankly.
I completely forgot that.
Yeah.
But like, you would get like, when I was going down to Sam Goody to get No Strings Attached, the NSYNC album, it was on a Tuesday.
It's like Tuesday's Books Day, Wednesday's Comic Books Day, Friday's Music Day. I don't remember a different time.
Yeah.
Artists weren't doing this.
Yeah.
We were not getting a music video for every song. And frankly, we shouldn't be getting a music video for every song from every artist.
Yeah.
But they're all trying. This completely changed how I interact with music, because it is not just a listening experience anymore.
This is the era where she was giving black.
We're forced to engage with the fact that this is a black woman. She's always been a black woman.
Yeah.
But this is the moment where it's like, no.
Yeah.
It's all in the music. It's going to be in the aesthetics, and you must acknowledge that and understand how that affects what I write about, how I live my life, and the choices that I make.
This is also when we get the 2016 Super Bowl. She's upsetting white people with the Black Panther-ness of it all. And then also in this era, there was an SNL sketch of, I think the joke was like, white people learned that Beyonce was black.
Right.
They're like, what? because it was the whole play on the formation performance at the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
People were shook. She was giving I Love My Man.
Yep.
We got a lot of anger towards her man on Lemonade. And then 2 years later, we got Everything Is Love, her joint album with
An album
Jay.
that I like.
I love that album.
I like that album.
Like Summer,
Ape Shit.
Black Effect. Like that is a great album.
Yeah.
Very underrated. And this is her pregnancy announcement.
With the twins.
With the twins. Too many people tried to replicate that.
I agree.
And it was unfortunate. Beachella.
Obviously,
then, that era ended with Black is King, which I appreciate more.
I love Black is King.
I love it. I didn't love it when it first dropped.
I think that's a masterpiece, personally. And it's actually a masterpiece that I think about it all the time. Like, I can't wait till I have a child who I can sit and watch that with, because I think it's going to be a really beautiful experience.
The Trilogy era. We've gotten Act 1, Renaissance. We have Act 2, Cowboy Carter. Act 3, Who Can Say?
Who Can Say? I'm guessing rock.
Yeah.
But who can say?
This era is actually just it's her cultural commentary. She's commenting on her career. She's commenting on the culture of the music industry in general and the history of the music that she is performing. Renaissance was obviously, disco, house music, dance music, reclaiming that. And the second act is about country music, reclaiming those roots.
I think one of the really cool things about Beyonce entering this country era is that it's going to shine a light, and already has started shining a light, on the other Black and brown people who are already in the country space. Rhiannon Giddens has been for a really long time one of my favorite artists. She's also an Oberlin alum.
And then, music by like Tanner Adele, Randall Roberts, even K. Michelle. They are getting, other Black people in the genre are getting streams and boosts in sales just because of this era. And I think that's beautiful.
Yep. It's not just Hootie anymore.
Yeah.
And as a lot of people have pointed out already, but we can discuss it here too, the Carter, obviously, yes, is her last name, but also really harkens back to the Carter family in country music. And the fact that one of their matriarch worked with a Black artist to do a style of like guitar playing that wasn't really widely popular, but they went around collecting music from Black families and sort of repurposing those songs for the radio. And of course, those Black families never, received credit for songs that were passed down generations and generations through their families.
Little Red Riding Hoods.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Renaissance. It was 2 years of my life that was the most joyous part of it.
It doesn't even feel like 2 years, honestly. I feel like the Break My Soul, the single, came out a month ago at this point. And possibly, and this is something that I'm just floating, she took over Coachella. Will she be taking over Stagecoach?
Will she be taking over the Grand Ole Opry? The Grand Ole Op B.
I can get to Nashville.
Yeah.
I can do that.
This has been The Era with Ira. Comment below your favorite Beyonce era, or let me know what artists I should dive into next. And subscribe to the channel. If you like this video, you'll love Keep It.